When you're just starting out with freelance design work, one of the hardest things you can do is defend your design decisions, especially when you're feeling really inexperienced. And it's really difficult to explain why your decisions are correct to non-designers. But an easy way to do that is with data analytics. I know it can seem daunting, especially if you've used Google Analytics before, but I'm going to show you a much easier way with Beusable's data analytics tool. It's completely free, and trust me, it will help you a lot. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Morgan. I am a UX designer in the financial services industry. I make videos talking about my career change and journey, what it's like being a UX designer, and everything in between. I try to offer advice where I can. So if that kind of information interests you, make sure to subscribe. So first, I'd like to give a big thank you to Beusable for sponsoring me again, and today I'm going to talk to you about their free data analytics tool. No code for this one because it is free up to, I believe, 600,000 page views, which is more than enough, especially for the topic that we're talking about today, which is working with small businesses. Even though they're sponsoring me, if I had found this tool outside of the sponsorship, I would be using it. I would be recommending it to you guys. So the website that you're going to see me use this tool on today, I have made them actually make their own account, the business owners, and the people that I'm teaching how to manage the website. I'm making them use this tool because it's actually really useful and really easy to understand, which we'll get into. Everything I say about this tool is true. All opinions are my own, and you know that I wouldn't recommend something to you that I didn't actually believe in. I cannot stress enough. This is so useful for new designers, especially if data confuses you, because I'm sure you're thinking about Google Analytics, how confusing it is, it's information overload, the data isn't displayed in a way that's easily digestible for people who don't specialize in analytics. And what's worse is that it's really difficult to use it to defend design decisions if you don't understand the data, but you can't explain it to other people because it can seem so convoluted. So we'll go through all of that. So I'll stop gushing about the tool and actually get into how you can use this to start or upgrade your freelancing game. So first I want to start with how you actually get a client. I really recommend just looking at what's in front of you. So if there's a place that you frequent, or you have a friend that owns a business or knows an owner of a business, or even if you just look around at your local businesses, a lot of small businesses, especially when they're just like a small mom and pop shop, they usually focus a lot on their brick and mortar and don't focus as much on their websites. So they're usually very antiquated, usually really bad choice of imagery and everything, especially restaurants. So look around, see who could use help, and reach out to them. Let them know that you're trying to gain experience in UX, UI design, and it's up to you if you think that you should be paid. When I was first starting, I bartered, I got like free memberships, or I would request that they purchase certain tools for me and let me use them. I also requested testimonials for my website and my LinkedIn page. Once you actually have a client, you're going to need access to their current website, so whether that's the actual code or whatever website builder they may use. Make it clear to them that the first few weeks, or even I would say the first month or so, is going to be purely for research, so that way you can make the absolute best decisions. Let them know that you're putting code on their current website, so that way you can track how users are interacting with their site. So now let's actually get to installing the code. This part is really easy. If you guys saw my last video with Beusable, it's really just copying code and putting it at the top of the pages that you want to track. I also really like that you can inspect to make sure that the code is installed correctly, because I would definitely be wondering, like pages that aren't being visited, I wonder if I even connected the code properly. That's something that I've definitely struggled with Google Analytics. So that's really, really nice. I really appreciate that they added that. And then you wait. And while you're waiting, you can conduct user research or competitor research, even conduct usability testing with the current version of the site, whatever you need to do to get the ball rolling. And then once you have all of the data after a few weeks or a month or so, then you should analyze everything. So I've been letting this run for a couple of weeks now, and I'll show you what this tool actually does. So now that we're logged in, we're just gonna go into report. So this is what it looks like when you land on your dashboard. What does this say? Check that there are no obstacles in your journey to your final destination. Oh, I love that they added this. See, this is what I'm talking about, is that they include stuff that makes it easy for you to explain it to other people. That's like invaluable and free. So, pages per session, that's good to know. I honestly thought it was just gonna be the one page because we have not updated this site in a long time. I'm teaching the manager how to manage the website, and he is surprisingly gifted at visual design. So I've been showing him a bit of UX design, and so hopefully this will change. But this is really good data to have because then he can show it to his boss and be like, yeah, this is what it was. And then if his design improves things, then he'll be able to say, oh, well, this is how I actually improved it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's expected. I honestly expected the drop-off rate to be higher. Rollback is when you're like hitting the back button basically, and then refresh is refresh. What I'm really interested in is the journey. So how people move through the website. What are they interested in? And I'm going to make sure that this date is set. Okay, so we've got like 2 weeks worth of data. I'm mostly interested in new users, not super interested in people who are direct. I'm gonna go Google. People who are actually like searching for something related. This is a personal training facility. So 8 out of 44 people are going over to memberships. They're also interested in, it looks like, the business. So this is all just like information about the business. That's good to know that people want to learn more. So that means that I think we should focus on these pages, make them more robust, and also appeal more to our target market, because their target market is actually personal trainers, not people who are looking to be personally trained. That's so okay, so 44, so basically everyone except for one person for each of these pages is landing on the homepage. The homepage is not good. I designed that before I knew any UX design. Poor user experience, which is probably why the drop-off rate is so high. So we can actually go in here and get a little bit more detail. So that's not good that people are refreshing the screen. That might mean that things are not loading, or they think that something's not working when it should be. So that's not good. Or like something isn't loading when it should be. Percentage return to the current page. Yeah. So that means like they went from one of these pages to back to this page or from another page. Okay, so this seems to be like the primary journey, except I guess it's like an equal amount. Like they go from here and then they go back to the home page, or they go to about or our team. So like generally people are just looking for information about underground training. Okay, that's good to know. And then another cool thing is that you can set up groups. So let me show you how that works. So I set up this group 1. This is actually really useful information. So like I said, this business needs to focus more on personal trainers. Everything in purple is something that someone who's looking to be trained, that's the information that they're looking at, or I would assume. There's no way of really knowing, but this is like an educated guess that I made. So I added tags to these specific pages, and let me show you how that works. So this is the tags that I made. So training leads, people who aren't yet clients. These are personal trainers that already work at the gym or are patrons at the gym. There's some shopping because there's some e-commerce on the site. And then no tag. This is like website building stuff. So I could make another group that's like the different types of pages versus the group that would look at that page. So that could be another useful way of looking at this. So I add a group and I call it page types. This creates a new group, there's no tags applied. So if I were to add a tag, shopping. I love that. I love the dancing toast. And we apply the group, page types. So people are all looking for information. So what if we switch it to phone? A lot of them are going obviously right to home, that's to be expected, but some of them are going directly to informational pages. And then they're interested in looking at the blog, or they want more information. It looks like they want information about membership packages. Like that's important to know. So I love this because, once again, imagine showing this to a client. Like, Beusable does the work for you. Like, and then you can just export this and put it in a PowerPoint. I would just honestly go right into the dashboard and show them, so that way you can adjust things so that way they want to see it. Like, they make it so easy for you to, not just for you to understand, but for other people to understand, which, like I said, is absolutely key. It's not just how you make good decisions, it's how you defend those good decisions. Because it doesn't matter how good of a decision you make, you're gonna deal with a lot of stubborn stakeholders that are stuck in their own opinions, especially if they're not designers. They can't argue with facts. So I can't tell you exactly how to use this data that you get, because it obviously depends on the actual project itself and what your goals are. Are you trying to bring focus to something that isn't getting enough attention? Maybe you're working with a restaurant and you're trying to get a lot of attention on your menu, obviously. But if your website is confusing or something's broken, this is a great way to find out, because a lot of people go to restaurants' websites in order to look at the menu. That's like the number one reason. If you're not getting a lot of hits on your menu, you should be able to uncover why. So that kind of stuff, you can do that. Or you can just generally improve the website. Are people dropping off immediately? Are they refreshing the page a lot? Like, you can determine if things are actually wrong with the site. Like, if things aren't loading properly, if the site is overloaded with information, or maybe a lot of people look from their phones and it's not optimized for mobile. You'll be able to determine that kind of stuff by using this tool. So as I have said throughout this video, what I think is most important about this tool is that it's not just easy to understand, it's extremely easy to explain, which is crucial when you are a freelancer, especially when you're an inexperienced freelancer. Even if you're not freelancing, say you're adding this to your portfolio and this is your friend's website and you don't actually work for them and you're just tracking the site so that way you can mock up a new one and put it in your portfolio. When you put that data into your case study, that's gonna set you so far apart from everybody else, because a lot of people are making a lot of guesses when it comes to solo projects, and you actually having data from a current website is huge. It would obviously be better if you actually did redesign the website and then had like a real case study of how you actually made a difference and these are the outcomes. Again, essential. So not even about the freelancing part, about the gaining experience part. You take that information, so that way they're not just educated guesses, it's like based on data and logic. You do all of the rest of your design process, and then you come back, you track the new website, you show, did you meet your goals? What actually happened with the project? Like, you can actually complete a real story, which a lot of people aren't going to have because things like Google Analytics are a headache to use, so you don't actually use it. So yeah, it's a really great tool. So like I said, I'm actually going to use this tool to work with this business. I'm going to show the manager how to use it and how to make decisions based on it, even though it's pretty straightforward. Remember, this tool is free, so there's no code, but the link will be in the description, so that way you can start your own Beusable account. Guys, highly, highly, highly recommend for your projects if you have the opportunity to work on a real website. Again, thank you to Beusable for sponsoring this video. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.